Hi, folks. Good afternoon. This is Father David Archibald. This is your 12 noon prayers and devotional time. And in case you're just tuning into this for the first time, I'm a priest at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church. We try to do some prayers or some spiritual practices about 3 times a day, which is more than we used to do before the COVID crisis. So because COVID, we are unable to meet so easily and in person. We try to stay online with a bigger presence than we did before. So that's why we have prayers at 9:30 in the morning, 7:30 at night, and 12 noon. This 12 noon devotional is really meant simply to wake us up in case between waking up this morning physically and making it this far, 4 hours or 5 hours, 6 hours into the day. During that time, even if we started off at a good place, what I mean by good place is an awakened place, a calm place. Awakened meaning present to God. I don't mean conscious or unconscious like physically sleeping, but conscious or unconscious in terms of our orientation and awareness of God. So we're trying to stay awake, assuming that we did wake up a little bit this morning, spiritually speaking. And so we have about 10 minutes here just to remind ourselves of who we are, who we belong to, what our place is in the big scheme of things. Because if you're like me, by the time I've gotten to the noonday, I've already gone through 3 or 4 little crises and little upsetnesses and little irritations, and these are the little things. If you're having a really tough day and you're just kind of almost in a depression state or anxiety state, and you just can't seem to, like in pinball, kick the ball out of the lockdown position, and you need to get the ball back and play again. And sometimes you really need something strong to essentially dislodge us and move us out of our irritations, our negativity, our upsetness, so that we don't lose the whole day. Clearly, I have lost the whole day or weeks sometimes. And the practice of 12 noon prayers is simply to try and prevent that from happening, where people wouldn't necessarily know it, but my own consciousness is not always in a good place. We can cover, I can act appropriately most of the time. Sometimes, though, I don't even act appropriately in those ways, and the idea is simply to try to have 12-day prayers, 12 noon prayers, so that we can just recenter and reconnect and get unstuck. Get out of our anxiety or depression, whether it's a big one or the little irritations and the little annoyances that we can tend to build up with us between when we woke up this morning and where we are now at lunchtime. So having said that, this is kind of a reminder for me that almost every moment has to be taken as it is, as a fresh start, and every moment has to be, as the Buddhists would say, have a beginner's mind, like we're starting over as beginners every moment, just to stay awake. Otherwise, we quickly settle down into old ruts, old habits, old patterns. So we're constantly trying to stay awake and stay aware, stay present to God, so that we really can be the vehicles of the Holy Spirit. It's almost like electricity image. Some things conduct electricity, other things are, they block it, or they're resistors to electricity. Your copper wires, electricity flows well through it, but lots of other inert objects do not conduct the electricity. I want to be someone who can conduct and let the divine energy flow through. And so when I get irritated, annoyed, or depressed or anxious, that's when I'm not very conductive. I'm really just a block to God's presence entering this world in a more full way. So if you had a rough start this morning, or if you had a bumpy start, let's get it back together. Just remember who you are. You are a child of the living God, and at your truest self, your deepest self, you are connected to God, and you can make a big difference in this world because of the divine energy and the power that will flow through you. So as we go to our devotional practice, which we've been using throughout this Epiphany season, it's simply a 2-minute reminder by breathing in and breathing out, consciously paying attention to the breath, and use the images on the screen. There's a circle that will appear, or at least it will become a circle, and listen to the narrator as they try to remind us, recenter us as who we are at our deepest self. So thanks for listening. I'm going to use this as a practice myself. None of this is theoretical. This is what I practice. Not that you need to do what I do, but this is not a rehearsal, as they say. This is the real life. So I'll put on our devotional time. And thanks ahead of time for being with us here at St. Andrews for your 12 noon devotionals.
For many of us, this moment feels chaotic and terribly stressful. Join us for a few moments to turn inward and connect to your innermost you. Gently close your eyes and feel the gentleness of breath inside your body as you repeat these words. My deepest me is love. My deepest me is whole. My deepest me is limitless. My deepest me is infinite. My deepest me is compassion. My deepest me is sacred. My deepest me is mystery. My deepest me is forgiveness. My deepest me is beauty. My deepest me is God. My deepest me has knowledge to give. I open my heart and listen.
Well, thanks for spending a little time and doing that little practice with us. It's those little practices, when you string them together, that can actually change your life. So just be reassured, everyone. The Holy One resides in you and is all around you. You are a beloved child of God. And as we come to realize that, experience that, then we become very happy in ourselves and real agents of change in the world. So go in peace, and you will love and serve the Lord from that sacred, whole place. Take care, everybody. Have a good afternoon. Feel free to return to this meditation video anytime you want. Tonight, 7:30, evening prayers. Bye for now.